$8,000 at a time where I didn't really have it, that set up the next 6 years, really the whole course of my lifetime. I can't put value on that. Did I get my value from that course? 100 times over. Not just because of the content that was in there, but because of the possibilities that arose that I couldn't have anticipated, that nobody could have anticipated. 6 years ago, I made a decision that would change the entire course of my life. Let me paint the picture a little bit here. My wife was pregnant. She'd been laid off from her job and wasn't making any income, and I was the sole provider of our family. At that time, I was working as a physical therapist, making a good income, but certainly nothing extravagant, pretty much enough just to cover the basic bills. And I was presented with this opportunity to take a leadership program with a mentor of mine named Scott Cody. It was called the Art of Leadership Mastery. And this was an expensive course, $8,000. At a time where we just got married, we're getting ready to have our first child, my wife's not working, I didn't have $8,000 to spend. All of my logic told me not to do it. This isn't the time. It's too expensive. You don't have enough money right now. Do it another year, another time. You'll be more ready for it. But there was an impulse, there was an instinct, a voice inside of my gut that said, you have to do this. And I didn't know what it was in there for me. I knew that this was an awesome program. I'd met Scott before, we had a conversation. I knew that leadership was something that I needed to work on, but I didn't know what was worth $8,000 at that time. Now, I know a lot of you out there have probably been in a similar position where your logic tells you this isn't the right thing to do. Your brain tries to talk you out of it, but your gut compels you to do something different. So I pulled the trigger. I took that course. I figured out a way to generate the resources and the funds, and I made it happen. 6 months later, I had a ton of amazing new skills, leadership tools that I still use today, practices and reflections of myself that I didn't know existed until I took that course. But the thing I didn't expect was I met two people at that course, Preston Smiles and Alexi Panos, two of my dear friends today. Two people who otherwise I probably would have never run into. That was 6 years ago. 3 years after that course. Didn't really have much contact with Preston or Alexi up to that point. But 3 years later, Preston launched something called Man Cave. A program, an opportunity for men to go deep, to discover what's inside themselves and to bring it forth so they can live their life on purpose. And when I saw this, I reached out to Preston. I said, hey man, I've been doing this work for a long time. If I can help you, let me know. 10 minutes later, I was enrolled to be the first lead coach inside a Man Cave. And that was back in 2017. From that moment, from that work I did with Preston and all the opportunities that opened up from working with him, working with Man Cave, and all of the sequential unfoldings after that, I'm here today recording this message and transmission to you. The Rising Man podcast is in countries all over the world. We literally have thousands of men who tune into what we're doing here. I've got guys in multiple programs, guys coming out to fast with us on our Compass experience. So many different layers of what I have opened up for myself because I said yes to one thing 6 years ago. Now, this illustrates a lot of things. First of all, it was probably the second or third time in my life where I really listened to my gut, where my brain was saying one thing and my gut was telling me another, and I chose to go with my gut. I trusted it. I knew there was something in there for me. The other thing was, this was an $8,000 course that gave me a ton of tools, skills, distinctions, leadership processes that I still use today. But the most value that I got from that course was meeting Preston and Alexi. I can't even count the thousands of dollars. My whole career shifted because of that connection, because of that opportunity that was opened up. Because of that doorway that I chose to walk through, that opened up another doorway to work with Preston, that opened up another doorway for me to create my own organization and company around men's work, that opened up so many other doorways and future doorways that I can't even see yet. All because I said yes to that one thing.